Hello everyone, RPGPrincess here, and tonight we're back with more Diamond Rose, a really good novel that I'm thoroughly enjoying. The last time that we were in this, there was a blade being made, we're now going to make a bow, we're gonna go out, she's actually getting really into helping him. I feel a small love story developing, and I'm excited, let's get into it. In goes the bowstring, and voila! Oh... Under the watchful eyes of Aria and Maya, I put the finishing touches on Aria's new bow. I secured the bowstring and Maya applauded, then struck a pose with the bow, loading an imaginary arrow from an invisible quiver. So, what do you think? Is it not the best bow you've ever seen? Aria glared at me as I prompted her. The pose is a 0 out of 10, and that's not even close to being the best bow I've ever seen. You have a long way to go, craftsman. I placed the bow down on the counter as I mulled over Aria's criticism. Although I wasn't expecting her to have a sudden change of heart, I had hoped for a more welcoming attitude. After all, I had just braved death once more in order to make her a weapon, and I didn't receive a single ounce of gratitude in return. Even if she paid me, I would still feel disheartened. Now, don't be like that, Aria. Why don't you tell Van what you honestly think? Since when did you two get so close? Picking up on the fact that Maya had dropped the Mr. from my name, Aria began to pout. I couldn't tell if Aria was displeased over being called out on her attitude, or worried that I was trying to steal her comrade away. Either way, it didn't seem like I was going to earn praise anytime soon. It's only natural to go closer to someone who risks their life to protect you, is it not? That aside, don't avoid the question, will you tell Van what you think of his work or not? Fine, I admit it, the bow is pretty good. It's well made, sturdy, and balanced. The bowstring fits perfectly and feels like it can sustain heavy usage. However, this is by no means the best bow I've ever seen, or even the best bow I've used. It is above average. Good, not great. Defying my expectations, Aria reluctantly muttered something similar to praise. For someone usually so crass and blunt, Aria seemed to be having a hard time giving me a straightforward, honest feedback. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you have potential. And I'd be honored to have you make my weapons from now on. Once the truth finally came out, I was stunned. I looked at Aria's blushing face, which she tried to hide by turning away, and felt my smile creep onto my own. So this is Aria's other side, huh? I thought she was just an arrogant, mean-spirited person, but it seems Maya was right about her. Given a bit of time to warm up to each other, I'm sure we could... Though if you expect repeat business, you should really move out of this mud hut. Pay me and get out. I swiftly grabbed the bow from the counter a moment before Aria could do so. Aria, Van, please stop this. You have no reason to be at odds with another. Van, we will gladly pay for your expert craftsmanship. Is that not correct, Aria? Aria shuddered slightly as Maya brought up the subject of payment. Aria... Have it... Huh? I leaned in closer, unable to hear what Aria just said. I don't have it. Having heard enough, I walked towards the back room with my new bow. I wonder what I can get for this on the street. Van, please wait. Aria, what do you mean? Do we not have enough funds for even a bow and an axe? Not since you decided to splurge on that fancy new sword. Maya froze on the spot. You mean to say I spent the last of our savings? Alright, you two, get out. Paying customers only. No, please, hold on a minute. Aria, how is that possible? Surely we have enough for a few new weapons. I think you're overestimating our financial situation. Our other guild mates may have plenty of money, but they split the moment you went out weapon shopping. You already spent the rest of my savings and yours, so for the time being, we're broke. No way. Confronted with the truth from Aria's own mouth, Maya could only accept what she'd heard. Maya dejectedly hung her shoulders, instantly robbed of her energy. Turning away from Maya for a moment, Aria once again eyed the bow in my hand. You know, Maya? And then we could... I have a bad feeling about this. Maya and Aria whispered between themselves, intermittently glancing towards me and the bow in my hand. Maya's energy had come back in full force, and she nodded enthusiastically at Aria's words. Once their conversation ended, the two ladies walked over to my side, each assuming an unnatural stance. Say, Mr. Craftsman, would you mind hearing us out? Aria placed one hand on her hip and the other behind her head, while subtly pushing her hips forward. She spoke in a raspy voice, completely unlike the harsh tone in which she usually spoke. Please, Van, for me? Maya leaned forward, giving me a clear view of her cleavage. Her voice was light and gentle, as though speaking to her lover. Pay up or get out. I turned away from the duo and continued walking into the back room. Oh, you good-for-nothing lout! Is that how you treat your customers? And two young women at that? It is if they can't pay. And don't give me some cliche, we'll pay with our bodies crap. I have bills to pay, you know. Van! Maya practically bawled as she charged forward and grabbed onto the hem of my shirt. Oi! What are you doing? Van, please, we need that bow and the axe. If we don't, our guildmates will... Her guildmates will what? Disown her? Make an example of her? Send her into the wilderness alone? Our guildmates will laugh at me and think I got swindled again. Doors that way. Bye. I tried to continue walking, but Maya's grip proved to be too strong. The strength she had shown during battle was real, and right now it was being used on yours truly. Fine, plan B then. Oi, Van, all you have to do is come up with the money, right? Well, if you loan me that bow... No way. The three of us can go out hunting. Not happening. And make that much money in no time. No? Aria sighed once again. Being told no 3 times in quick succession, her mood had by no means improved. Look, I'm not asking you to give me that bow. I'd just be borrowing it while earning the money to pay you. In fact, we already have a job lined up, and armed with your weapons, our odds will increase significantly. So, please let me borrow that bow. For the first time since we met, Aria lowered her head and made an honest request. Although I had no reason to hand over my prized bow, at that moment I found myself struggling to say no. I crafted this bow so it could be used, not so it could collect dust in my dirty workshop. Moreover, these girls will go out with the job without my armaments, and they stand a much better chance of using the weaponry I supplied. Couldn't live with myself if Maya got killed because I refused to let her companion borrow a weapon I worked so hard to make. If Aria were really to die, then I brought my hand to my face and slowed my breathing. Alright. I'll let you borrow this bow. Van! You will? Maya raised her head and looked at me with obvious delight, while Aria's face was masked with surprise. Yes, but on one condition. I'll be coming with you two, whether you want me to or not. Both Maya and Aria looked at me as though I was crazy. Not that I could blame them. A moment ago I refused to let Aria borrow a weapon, and now I was agreeing to risk my life to possibly save theirs. Of course my motives were not so philanthropic. You want to come with us? Not especially. But I can't have you running off with my bow, can I? Besides, Maya protected me when I was gathering the materials to make that bow. The least I can do is return the favor. Van? Aria's surprised expression turned into a smirk, and Maya's grew teary as her face heated up. Alright then, if you want to come along, we'll happily take you. Any craftsman expecting to serve me had better be able to hold his own in a battle. Indeed, I look forward to fighting by your side once more, Van. Let us head out immediately and return alive and well. I chuckled to myself as I handed over my bow to Aria, then grabbed my battle gear. Alive and well? Don't jinx us already, Maya. I'm sure it'll be fine. What are we hunting anyway? Oh, just a minotaur. I dropped my battle gear and sat down. I'm out. But you just said... I said I'd help you make some money. Nobody ever said anything about group suicide. I knew you were a coward. So be it. We'll go without you after all. But I'm taking your bow. Aria started heading towards the door as I remained seated. Maya, on the other hand, didn't move. She turned back and forth, looking at Aria and I, wondering what to do. Come along, Maya. We have work to do. Maya, don't listen to her. I really don't want you to get yourself killed. No, that's... Maya's fist shook at her sides as her lips trembled. Caught between her friend and a craftsman, I thought her decision would be obvious. Even if I spoke the truth, surely she'd side with her guildmate. I'm not going. But as history has proven, I don't understand women at all. Huh? Aria faced Maya with a look of both astonishment and annoyance. She hadn't expected Maya to resist, let alone refuse to accompany her. What do you mean you aren't going? Did this sissy craftsman infect you with his cowardice? Better to be a living coward than a dead idiot. That's not it, I want Van to come too. Ari and I both looked at Maya in shock as she yelled out. Her face was red and voice desperate. It was a plea unexpected by everyone present, Maya included. You said it yourself, didn't you? Van, you said you wanted to return the favor and make sure we all survive. Aria said you wanted me to see Van in battle and determine for yourself whether or not he's a suitable candidate. But the only way that's going to happen is if we all work together and fight side by side. Maya's voice started to crack as she forced out her honest sentiment. Van, I know how unreasonable I'm being. From the beginning, we never expected you to join us, and I wouldn't dare ask if you hadn't brought up the possibility yourself. But now I know how you feel. I can't just leave you behind while we charge into battle. Maya positioned herself directly in front of me and held out her hand. Please be true to your word. Return the favor you feel you owe and join me in battle once more. Like Aria, I could only watch Maya in awe as she spoke. Thanks to my impulsive offer, Maya saw in me an ally, not a mere craftsman. In turn, I looked kindly upon the girl who put so much faith in a bum like me and was willing to speak out against her friend for my sake. Whether I realized it or not, we were not merely a merchant and a customer doing business. We had already become friends. Maya really wants me to come along? When we set out earlier, it seemed like she didn't even need my help. Maya could easily handle any opponent we fought by herself. If anything, I should be the one pleading to come along in order to watch my masterpieces in action. And to protect these two girls from almost certain death. Though still hesitant and more than a little afraid of what Maya was proposing, before I knew it, I'd placed my hand in hers. Maya smiled at me radiantly, both grateful for and delighted by my decision. And Maya made no attempt to hide how she felt. You really want me to go with you? I mean, I know I suggested it myself, but seriously? Maya nodded happily without showing a single ounce of insincerity. Aria, on the other hand... As I looked towards Aria, she wore the same stoic expression as usual. If you think I'm going to request your assistance, then you're mistaken. My guildmates and I have done just fine on our own. We don't need help from someone like you. Be that as it may... Aria turned away, once again hiding the light blush on her face. If Maya wants you to come along, then I won't refuse your company. Confronted with acceptance on either side, I looked at my customers with my mouth agape. Maya tightly clutching my hand as she smiled, and Aria, unwilling to say what she truly felt, both wanted me by their side. A poor craftsman from the slums, now working out of a derelict workshop, had been accepted by two beautiful women as not only a competent weaponsmith, but also an ally. I unknowingly let a smile creep onto my face as I nodded, and Maya pulled me to my feet. I picked up my battle gear and straightened my back as I walked towards Aria. It's good enough for me. Come on, you two, let's go kick some Minotaur butt. That's more like it. Show me what you've got, craftsman. I'm behind you all the way, Van. If the three of us band together, victory is all but certain.